Hello, this is the second of 2 episodes that I am releasing this week to promote the crowdfunding campaign for my podcast, Film Pro Productivity. It's running on Indiegogo this week for just 7 days, and I'm trying to reach a target of £500. And actually, at the moment, we're doing really, really well, but we've got just a little bit further to go. And my intention was also to try and publicise the show along the way, and pushing episodes out into YouTube space instead of just out as audio is something I'm hoping to do over the next year anyway. So this is kind of combining with a little bit of testing that I'm doing as well. But today I'm bringing you an episode which is called 4 hacks to 4 hacks to beat procrastination. 4 hacks to beat procrastination, I think it is. And the reason I'm releasing this one, you see, look, I don't know what I'm doing. How did I get here? I've got to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I just figured that would be a good episode because it's kind of broad, and I'm sure we all suffer in some way from procrastination, and I figured it would be a good topic just to put out there for general use, but it'll give you a good idea of what the content of the show is like generally as well. So remember that there's episode perks which cost £25 each, so if you want to sponsor an episode, you can go to the campaign and buy one of these, and that means in season 3, I think there's only 9 left, by the way. Half the season is already sponsored. I'm looking for another 9 sponsors, but in effect it'll be something like this episode was brought to you by, kind of like not the letter W or whatever, it's not Sesame Street, but brought to you by whoever you are, whatever your company is, whatever charity you want to back up. It doesn't really matter to me as long as it's not swearing or trolling someone or whatever. So just watch. I'm watching out for them, so take care. Anyway, so here we are. This is an episode. It's from season 1, and I hope you get something out of it. Enjoy. Welcome and thank you for joining me once again at Film Pro Productivity. Each week I'll be introducing concepts that film professionals and other creatives can use to make life easier and avoid creative burnout. I'll also discuss time management and lifestyle hacks for a more focused, effective and happy life. My name is Carter Ferguson and this is episode 9, 4 cool hacks to beat procrastination. So I'm a good bit into the podcast now, and I feel I'm doing all right. I hope you're finding possibilities in what I'm presenting here and that they're working out for you. I think any early troubles with the podcast feed or syndication have been dealt with now, but if you ever do have any trouble with it, then grab the Podbean app from the link on my website. Film Pro Productivity is syndicated all over the place, but Podbean is my actual media host, and I'll always have the new episodes there first. It's a free app and it's available for iPhone and Android. I'll also post the latest episodes on the website as they launch with the show notes, and you can grab them there if you prefer to listen on your desktop. Last week I introduced the very simple 5-second rule from Mel Robbins and talked about how it can be used to overcome obstacles and cheat the brain into conquering your fears. If you've not had a chance to listen to that one, then check it out. I've been trying it out myself and it certainly does work if you can buy into it. This week I'm going to cover 4 more productivity rules that I know will make your life easier and continue to help you to just get things done, beat procrastination. They are the OneTouch Rule and its close cousin, the 2-minute rule. Then I'll move on to the 5-minute and the 10-minute rules. These rules have much in common, but if you can get to grips with them individually, you'll find them to be very effective in that war against procrastination. My main email address at fightdirector.com receives a vast number of messages every day, and if I don't pay attention to it, it overwhelms me. On many occasions, I've found myself having to stop everything else just to work through the backlog of those emails. In fact, later on today, after I record this episode, I'm going to do exactly that. The simplest productivity technique of all is the delete button, but once that's done its job, I'm left with a plethora of small to mid-sized replies, links and follow-ups to deal with that just can't be avoided. I started looking for solutions and ways of thinking that could help me to clear my backlog of incomplete tasks quickly and efficiently. I've been messing about with these sort of things for a few years now. Some float to the top and get used more often than others, and a few start to become habit. Nowadays I find them coming into play in my day-to-day life without me consciously considering them. The 4 rules that I'm introducing today are solutions to procrastination problems that I have tried out myself and that I feel do work. They don't have to be used on email. They could be used for telephone calls or just simple jobs about the house. They can even be used for larger tasks that you've split up into chunks. And that's called chunking, by the way. And that in itself is an awesome productivity method, making something large as sum of its parts, breaking it into smaller elements that you can tackle one at a time. So to get into it, first I want to introduce to you the OneTouch Rule. And that simply means that you must process a task the first time you touch it. You get it? You must process a task the first time you touch it. It was formalised by productivity consultant Anne Gomez, and it's more of a guideline or a hack than a rule, but if you adopt it, you'll find that most of the little tasks that can clog up your vision and deplete your mental energy start to disappear. Anne also points out that it builds the habit of starting things only when you're ready. She explains, and I quote, "It's a simple trick to help you batch your work into scheduled, focused blocks. You won't open an email until you're ready to give it your full attention, or you'll decline to accept your co-worker's rough draft until later, when you know you'll have the time to sit down and do it." I use this rule all the time, especially when I'm collaborating on scripts with a writer, for example. I ask them not to send me updates until they have reached a point that they are happy with, and then I schedule time to look at a new draft and complete my work on it in one sitting. It's immensely useful and it saves both of us from wasting our time. Beyond that specific use though, I use it to blast small tasks like email sorting right out of the water, that sort of thing, and I force myself to stop leaving tasks unfinished. It's something I consciously have to do because that just clogs up my brain and messes me up. Moving on now to the 2-minute rule. This is another quite simple strategy which I first saw in David Allen's best-selling book, Getting Things Done, and I threw it out there at the end of episode 1 in very basic terms as I felt I should introduce at least one technique before asking listeners to join me back on a new episode on episode 2. But here it is here in a lot more detail. The 2-minute rule overcomes procrastination, or as it's sometimes known, laziness, by making it so easy for you to start taking action that you can't say no. It's surprising how many things you can put off that you could get done in 2 minutes or less, and that's the rule in action. If you have a task that takes less than 2 minutes, just do it now. You got an email to respond to? Do it now. You got an online payment to make? Do it now. Need to pack the dishwasher? Do it now. Need to send an invoice or a thank you text or make the bed or whatever you have to do. If it takes 2 minutes or less, just do it now and it's done and it's behind you. If you don't, then these small, easily doable tasks build up and suddenly you're looking at 10 or 20 of them and they're on your mind and they're a mountain of work. If you shoot them down as you go, then they're gone and you'll be able to focus on the stuff that matters. Doing them as you go has a fringe benefit of giving you an ongoing feeling of accomplishment as well, and this buoys your spirit and brings confidence and positivity into your life. Now, of course, all of our goals can't be accomplished in less than 2 minutes, but every goal can at least be started in 2 minutes or less, and that's the point. Small accomplishments start to become a habit, and large jobs split into small parts become, after time, a sum of their parts and complete. So that's the basics of the 2-minute rule. Give it a try and see if it's something that will work for you. Get your head into the right space and see what you can either deal with in 2 minutes or that you can begin or chunk into 2-minute bites. My next rule again links into that, and it's known as the 5-minute rule. Kevin Systrom, the billionaire CEO and co-founder of Instagram, came up with this simple trick to tackle procrastination. It's similar in many ways to the 2-minute rule, but it's worth tackling separately. Kevin's 5-minute rule states that, quote, "If you don't want to do something, make a deal with yourself to do at least 5 minutes of it. After 5 minutes, you'll end up doing the whole thing." So the 5-minute rule tricks our brains into thinking that we can dip quickly into a task. But once we're in there, it also makes room for us to reassess our position, and after ultimately overcoming the initial burst of effort to get started, it allows us to choose to give it more time. You might not want to do it at first, but once you've started and committed just 5 minutes, you will likely decide that you might as well just get it finished. The momentum created by starting a task is carried forward should you choose to give it more time. And once you've started, you just might find that you've got a much more positive attitude towards the task than you had beforehand, and actually want to give it more time and mental energy. Also, if a task you have started at first seemed vast, then once you're in it, it might feel more achievable and less impossible just because you're moving forward. So that's the 5-minute rule. But wait a minute, did I not do a full episode on the 5-second rule in episode 8? Then how many rules can there be? And can you handle one more? If the answer is yes, then keep on listening and we will tackle the 10-minute rule. And what is that? Well, put simply, it states that every task on your to-do list should take no more than 10 minutes to complete. If tasks take longer than 10 minutes, then break them down into smaller tasks or delegate it to someone else. This rule involves setting the alarm on your phone or a stopwatch to go off after 10 minutes, and that in turn focuses your efforts into a very tight timescale. This isn't about tricking your brain, this is about setting yourself forced deadlines to complete specific tasks. To help you a little bit further with this concept, let me talk about Parkinsons Law, which you might have heard of. That is the adage that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. It's an awesome concept and it's so true it makes me laugh. It goes hand in hand with my episode on perfectionism too. If I say give myself a week to write notes on a script that I've been sent, I can guarantee you that I'll take a week to do that. But if I've given myself 4 hours to do the same job, I bet you I could get it done. No, it might not be perfect and I might not have gone over it 10 times, but I will get it done. And that's Parkinson's Law in action. It's incredible to see what you can achieve when you consciously commit to the 10-minute rule. It's like an extension of the high-level thinking I batter on about, and all it takes is a bit of conscious effort to make this work. All of this stuff is always easier if you can remove any distractions. So get your phone and that time-destroying app you find yourself on all the time, you know the one, and either delete it or get it the hell away from you. And actually, delete that app, in fact, as you'll need the 10-minute timer on your phone. That app's a great distraction anyway, so just get rid of it. And you know I'm right. And you know the one I'm talking about. And that do not disturb function on your phone is just a click away, remember, so you can hit that too. Now, set the timer and get to work. That's all you need to do. I always like to end an episode with a good quote, and the Brainy Quote website threw up this. Procrastination is one of the most common and deadliest of diseases, and its toll on success and happiness is heavy. That was by Wayne Gretzky, a Canadian athlete that came up with it. I love it. But I more commonly hear the Mark Twain one, never put off till tomorrow what may be done the day after tomorrow just as well. Because not everything is urgent and not everything needs to be done today. But if you know you've got a problem with procrastination and you can feel things getting on top of you, then grab a hold of some of these techniques and start applying them. These rules really work, but you need to engage in them to commit. You might find yourself asking, how does this work? It doesn't make any sense. Well, just suck it and see. That's all you need to do with these things that I present to you here. There's a lot of info in this episode, and I'll detail all of it with links to resources in the show notes, which can be found at filmproproductivity.com/9. Just take one or all of these techniques and give them a test drive. The OneTouch Rule, the 2-minute rule, the 5-minute rule, and the 10-minute rule. All are similar but different. All are highly effective if applied correctly. Abraham Lincoln said, "You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today." If procrastination has snuck up on you and you're in a bit of trouble, then grab one of these rules, apply it to your life and work today, and things will get easier. So, thanks again for listening. I really, really appreciate you tuning in, and I really hope that this stuff is working out for you. Next episode, I'll be talking about multitasking and why doing one thing at a time is a far, far, far better option. For now, though, take control of your own destiny, keep on shooting, and join me next time on Film Pro Productivity. The music that you're listening to right now is Adventures by Ehumitsu. You can view the show notes for this episode at filmproproductivity.com/episode 9. If you're struggling with something you think I can help with or would like to tell me how you're getting on, then please get in touch via the contact page on the website. Alternately, you can get me on Twitter at fight_director or follow the show at filmproprodpod. Please subscribe on the podcast app of your choice, preferably Podbean, which is my media host. And if you are in a caring and sharing mood, then spread the word about the show, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd take the time to leave an awesome review.